Welcome to River City Plus, the show after the show, and today we are telling stories, like deep stories. I'm actually hanging out here with Barbara Colacello and Haley Wright Tinkle, and Barbara curates a program for the Florida Theater. It's called Untold Stories, where Jacksonvillians come together and share stories about their Jacksonville experience or whatever the theme is for this particular one. So we've got spring, which is actually going to be May 30th, which is next Thursday at the Florida Theater. Doors are at 7. Doors open at 6:30. Shows at 7:30. Haley is one of the should we say we'll say storytellers. We won't call it performance, although it is a little bit of our performance.
Yeah, it is a performance.
So this is season 3, Barbara.
Yep.
And so for those that don't know what Untold Stories are, break it down for them.
Well, the Florida Theater is producing this series, which is a very intimate evening. You get to hear 6 storytellers that are connected to Jacksonville, and we weave music throughout, and it's like a large listening room, like the best listening room in Jacksonville. I mean, the theater's amazing. It's a great experience. And they're funny, they're dramatic. We recently asked the audience for like quotes after this last fall theme, and they were saying, this is so unusual. There's nothing like this in Jacksonville. It gives me hope for humanity because they're hearing, you go into someone else's life, their lived experience, and you have no idea. How would you know, right? And all of these are like these little TV miniseries, possibly, they're all, so it's a fun night to come out and feel very connected to the place we live.
So you mentioned before, so if you've been before, you've seen some of this storytelling, so seasons 1 and 2. Season 3, you've kind of tweaked things, and you mentioned weaving music into this.
Right.
So explain that part of it.
Well, because as a director and someone who produces events, the director needs to have control of every aspect of the show. And I said to Florida Theater, I also like to cast who's coming in as the music. And this way, they are coming to our rehearsals. They have been, Krishna Akath has been interviewing the storytellers. He's picking theme music for them to come out. And he and I do an interactive. So every time we have different musicians, it just makes the evening flow better.
Yeah. So we talk about the storytellers, and these are people that are coming from all different walks of life and sharing their stories. Some are transplants, some have been here for a while. You've got business leaders, you've got performers. Haley, you're actually part of Downtown Vision, and so some people might be like, what story do you have to tell? But your story doesn't even have anything to do with work. So you've been on stage and you've presented before. How is this different from what you've done in the past?
Yeah, I would say for the past, my whole adult life and, my whole working life, that has been who I am. I've always been my job, and I've always prided myself in what I do. And that's really what my story is about how I have, always been someone's something. I've always been someone's employee, or I've been, I'm just a relation to people. And with the theme being spring, I had this realization of that, and that I, had been missing out on life. And, so in the season of spring, I'm discovering who I am and what I like to do and who I am as a person. So it's been really exciting to go through that journey, and it's been therapeutic to work through this process and realize, I don't have to just be an events person, or I don't just have to be, someone's daughter or someone's, guardian or whichever. I can just be Haley. So it's exciting.
So we talk about the therapeutic aspect of it, and some of the storytellers say it's kind of a cathartic. So let's talk about therapy. You got 2,500 therapists listen to your story. Are you ready for that kind of perception and that judgment?
Yeah, it's really scary to be perceived, and that's another thing I talk about in my story about, how I have kept myself so busy so that I could just be, the events person, or I could be the person behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm really opening myself up to my entire city. And it's going to be fun, I think.
And so, with that, Barbara, how do people come to you? So, I kind of know your story, but you're always looking for storytellers as you go through because it's not something where you just pop up and you just talk. Barbara takes you through a process and really coaches you through to make sure that
Ask a lot of
everything's
questions.
cohesive and that the story is engaging. Like, we've had a conversation where I was going to try to come and she's like, you ain't ready. So I get it. I get it. But talk about a little bit about that.
Well, obviously, I need storytellers, and because you're casting, it's like casting a play. So I might have the perfect person that I know could get up there on the Florida Theater. They have experience. They have a great idea, but I'm not going to cast them in this show because I already have five women that could be fabulous, but I'd like to keep it, like mixed. Or I have three young women in their 20s, and I have to think about having diverse voices. So it's finding the right time for the right story or who those six storytellers are going to be. So that's one factor. But people see me all the time and they say, I want to do an Untold Stories. And I say, great, go on Florida Theater's website. It says how to become a participant. We ask for you to do a 2-minute video, like just prop up your camera and say, my story would be about Ishkabibble and why this is important to me and how it connects to Jacksonville. If I at least get the seed and I see that you took that step, now I have something to go by. A lot of people just want to be on this, and I keep asking them, well, what story would you tell? Right. There you go. There you go. And they'll be like, they write to me and they want to take me to lunch or coffee, and I'm like, I don't want to go to. I want to. That's not what I want to do. I don't have all these hours. Imagine I would be like a bloat. I don't drink that much coffee. It's so, but I was someone that I just cast for the summer, and the summer show is on July 11th. She sent me the 2-minute video. She told me a story that's very unusual, and I liked her personality, so I wrote to her. I said, that's anecdotal. It's perfect for like a slam at Bab's Lab, like a 5-minute story. So I asked her a bunch of questions, fill it in. The next thing I know is she shows up at the slam last month at Babs. She tells a very funny story and wins the slam. Well, she won my heart and she got cast. But here is someone that really wants to get better as a storyteller. She has a big company. She's a very busy lady, but she went out of her way. So yeah, she got cast.
So basically, you're like, if you have a story, great, but kind of have a little bit of a focus and at least present it to you, and then you can help them flesh it out.
I'm real good at that.
So, all right, but I'm going to pivot real quick. So your slams, all right, so that's at Babs Labs and on Uncorked, and that's another opportunity for.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I'm in this position of the artistic director of Untold Stories is going back 4 years. I've been for about 7 years running monthly story slams at Babs Lab, and there's always a theme. And I'm doing that to develop people's skills for oral storytelling. Mm-hmm. And I have writers coming in that want to be able to take their stories and put this, be able to have a conversational approach to their stories. Or we have all kinds of people come up. Anybody could come up and tell a story and get better at their craft. So yes, storytellers have come. I see them, they take classes with me, and of course I cast them because I know they can get the job done. I know they're directable. But my mission is putting people in a room together and just listening to one another. There doesn't have to be a lot of fanfare, but teaching somebody how to tell a great story, to be specific, it's image to image, not word to word. People... it's how you say something, and you have to be emotionally invested, and so the slams are a training ground.
All right, so This one is going down next Thursday, May 30th at Florida Theater. You can get your tickets at floridatheater.com. Season 4 is possibly on deck, so you make sure to check out the website for that, and then you can put in your submission. Maybe Babs will talk to you, or you can go to the Slam at Uncorked.
It's Cork. It's Cork Arts District.
Where's it Uncorked? Oh, I'm
Because
thinking
it's yeah.
I was just thinking uncorking a bottle of wine. So, all right, and then the next one is July 11th, so be on the lookout for that. So, Haley, look forward to hearing your story, Break a Leg, and Bab, looking forward to connecting with you, and thanks for showcasing the community the way you do.
Thank you.
So
Florida Theater, because they're the ones that believe in this too.
And I love it. So we will be having more on that. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today and sharing.
Thank you, Rance.
So tomorrow we will have more River City Plus, and then as always at 9:30 more River City Live. So we'll see you then.
Woo.